I'll be talking to you about SIBO, known as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Bacteria moves from the big to the small intestine in our gut, which causes severe belly extension, if it is bad bacteria, that is. A good number of digestive issues that can have similar signs and symptoms because they are all in the gut. I will try to educate you to find your way to a seemingly elusive diagnosis that would help set you up on the appropriate path to healing. Have you ever noticed your belly bulge after a meal, as if it's feeling like a balloon? Do you feel like you are 6 months pregnant even if you woke up with a flat belly? This is a symptom you may experience if you have SIBO. Bacteria in the digestive system is a good thing. However, when bacteria grows out of control in the wrong places in the digestive tract, it becomes a problem. Most of the bacteria in our digestive tract live in the colon. Less than 5% of the total amount of colonic bacteria are present in the small intestine. People with SIBO have an increased number and/or an abnormal type of bacteria inhabiting the small bowel. Bacteria in the wrong places can cause problems. The excess and displaced bacteria begins feeding on the digesting food, fermenting and multiplying and creating gas as a byproduct. That fermentation results in that ballooning and bloating belly, as well as motility disruption, causing constipation. Candida is growth of yeast due to too much antibiotics, bad diet, stress, too much sugar and starch, which causes extension and bloating. This happens when there is inflammation in the gut. The gut degenerates as the brain. Food sensitivity like milk, protein, soy protein, and gluten are triggers to immune intolerance. SIBO can result from bacteria seeping through a leaky ileocecal valve, which is the last part of the small intestine from the colon. The bacteria then moves into the distal region of the ileum and sometimes up to the jejunum, the place where most of the absorption of our nutrient takes place. When the time is right, that bacteria can grow to unhealthy levels. Bacterial populations are normally kept at bay. Bacterial population are normally kept at bay by acid secretion in the stomach. The migrating motor complex, MMC, which moves chyme through the digestive tract with peristaltic waves between meals, and the ileocecal valve, which prevents content from the colon from entering the small intestine. These optimal digestive process may be compromised by gastrointestinal infections or dysbiosis, chronic stress, prescription medications, including acid blockers or PPIs, frequent feeding and snacking, surgery, bowel obstruction and adhesions, bowel diseases, fast food poisoning, celiac, gallbladder dysfunction. Approximately 1 in 5 adults have irritable bowel syndrome. It's now estimated that 80% of IBS sufferers likely have SIBO. The typical symptoms of IBS are much the same as those of SIBO, which is what can make this process of diagnosing somewhat confusing. SIBO investigation is needed if you have chronic abdominal distension and bloating, sometimes painful, flatulence and or bulging, motility issues like constipation, diarrhea or both, hypoacidity of the stomach, symptoms worsening with increased fiber, skin issues such as eczema and rosacea. These digestive disorders are signs and symptoms that wouldn't typically be associated with the gut. With SIBO, there can often be chronic pain, restless leg syndrome, and mood disorders, chronic fatigue, and more. To improve your digestion from top to bottom, you need to address the underlying factors that may be contributing to the development of all digestive disturbances as challenging as SIBO. Probiotics are not helpful for bloating. Use multiple fibers for enzyme physiology and intestinal mobility. It helps with vaginal dryness too. Some people use the FODMAP diet for SIBO. It removes sugar in the diet that feeds those bacteria. I also would recommend that you listen to the nutrition audio, where I would share some of the ways you can gradually improve your diet. It would go through an elimination phase and then a reintroduction phase to help you work out what works for your unique gut and help build your immunity for optimal health. I really wish you well on your healing journey.